Hey gremlins, welcome to a new video. In today's video we are going to talk about pendulums. So pendulums, as you can see right there, are incredible objects that you can really use in your spiritual journey, and I thought after oracles and tarot decks we should talk about this. So if you're interested, keep on watching. A pendulum is any weighted object which is going to be at the end of a string or chain. So as you can see right there, this is a crystal. This is a rock that is at the end of a chain. And this is basically what it's going to look like in the usual case. But you could also use a necklace as a pendulum, such as this one, as it is very heavy. Most of the pendulums you are going to see have a crystal on them. This is because we do believe in lithotherapy that stones have energy and that they can resonate with us as they carry physical and energetical constitutions. Because every stone is going to have a different type of energy and vibration, you will tend to use different stones for different purposes. You could use an amethyst for anything related to divination and spirituality, as it is the stone of the 7th chakra, which is going to be anything related to spirituality and ascension. Or you could use a rose quartz for anything related to love and relationships. However, when you have a pendulum, you don't necessarily have to use a lot of them. You can only have one and use it for all the purposes that you want. I personally have 2 pendulums. This one, which is euconite, which is very good for earth, binding, and also clearing spaces and being protected. And I also have a rock crystal quartz, which is going to be very useful when it comes to spirituality and any choices related to really important and divine topics for me. There are so many uses that you can make of them, but the most common one is going to be using them for yes or no questions, such as should I go to this forest on this day, and your pendulum is going to say yes or no. This is just an example of a question. A lot of people use them for very mundane things, such as should I eat pasta? So that's not how I do it, but no shame on you if you do. You can also use your pendulum to communicate with spirits. It is a little bit of the same idea of the Ouija board, where, I wouldn't recommend you to use the Ouija board, but a pendulum is a safer way to do it, where you are going to ask for a certain spirit to come and then see the yes or the no answers to the questions you will ask. You can also use them to clear spaces, which is what I do. So I'm usually going to walk around and let it clear the spaces around me. Of course, you have to give it an intent. Please clear the space around me, and it will do it for you. Every time I tend to go to unknown places or lost or anything that is a bit dodgy, I will usually carry a pendulum around so that I can purify things around me, because as a medium, I need to purify certain spaces just to make sure I don't get overwhelmed. You can also use these for protection. So it's a bit the same idea as clearing spaces. You are just going to visualize a circle around you and picture the pendulum creating the barrier between you and outside. So this is very useful to you when you go to unknown places. There are 3 other uses I'm going to mention. The first one is finding a lost object. So it does actually really work. I used to do it with my friends when we had to do some sports exams where you had to find some locations, and we would always be very good at this just because we had a pendulum. Then another use you can make out of them is to use them with tarot readings and oracle readings, of course. You can just ask your pendulum how to guide you the best, what is okay to do and what is not. I tend to create a lot of my readings, so I'm usually going to ask my pendulum whether or not this is an okay thing to do and whether or not it is going to give me the best results that it can. And finally, the last use that I'm going to mention is using them in relation to astrology. So I work with an astrologist, and she makes my year every time it comes to be my birthday. And what I do is that I also use my cards, my pendulums, my runes, so that we can intersect everything and see what is the most accurate and what is not. And we can both prove our skills doing so. So I would really recommend that if you have friends doing another type of work, to actually intersect everything and learn from each other. Most people believe that the way your pendulum is going to work depends on your own frequency, meaning that your body, whether it is your subconscious or your heartbeats, is going to actually make your pendulum moves because you're going to have your physical link to the stone. Anyway, there are so many hypotheses on how it works. Some people also believe it is due to spirits around you, but I personally find that depending on what type of work I do with my pendulum and where I am, my pendulum is going to rotate very strongly or almost not at all. So I personally would think that it is related to our subconscious, our body vibrations, but also our surrounding and the spirits, if you will, around you. So how to buy one and which one is the best for you? Well, once again, just like the Oracle and Tower video I made, which you should go see if you didn't, I would say that you should pick it intuitively. You go to a shop and you will just let it flow. I noticed that when it comes to pendulums, it is a lot harder for me at least to find one that resonates with my energy. So I think take your time. Even if you go the first time and you don't find the one that is good for you, it's alright, just come another day and see how you feel, maybe try another shop. I had a friend that did find hers right away, but I also had another one that found it after, I don't know, like maybe 5 trips. So take your time and let it flow. After buying a pendulum, the first thing you should do though, and that it doesn't matter which pendulum you're gonna buy, you will have to do it, is to purify it. So the way I personally do it, and you have many ways of purifying your stones, is first I'm going to hold it, of course, and I'm just going to let it over the fire. So it is going to spin, at least mine, until it is okay and somewhat purified. So it's not gonna take a long time because I literally did it yesterday. So it's already good. And then I'm going to put it over my incense so that it can get purified again. And just let go of every single type of energy it had, whether it was good or bad, because you want a clean slate to work with. See? So that's very good. Good. However, you should keep in mind that some stones are not really friendly with fire, so you should really make your research on whether you should use water or just the sun, the moon energy, or another geode. So that would be great. A lot of people always ask, how do you hold your pendulum? And it is actually really simple. You want a certain length, so it doesn't have to be that big, but oops, that's how I like to have it. This would be a little bit too short for me. And then you can have your arm like this, or just put it somewhere down. It doesn't really matter at all. And you just let it be. You don't move your finger, you don't move your wrist, you don't move your arm. Even if nothing is happening at first, it doesn't matter. You let it be and you wait, and you have to learn to let your energy flow in. My mother really struggles to make pendulum moves, and it's alright. It's just something she's learning progressively, and you don't have to rush it. Some people are going to pick up really strongly, and some people are not. The first time I used a pendulum in a shop, all the pendulums started spinning. That was a little bit intense, but some people just don't get that effect, and it's fine. It doesn't matter you're bad, it doesn't matter you're not doing something right. It's just how it is. And to use your pendulum, the first step is going to be the programmation of your pendulum, I guess. So I'm going to use the other one so that you see the difference a little bit. I'm going to ask it, show me a yes. So I tend to like to close my eyes so that it doesn't get biased by me. So this is going to be my yes, a circle going to the right. And then show me a no. It's going to be a circle to the left. You have to know that it's okay if your pendulum doesn't rotate. It can also, so see right now it's going back and forth. It means that it's waiting. And when I stop using it, I usually wait for it to just stop moving. But you have to give intention in your head. Some people's pendulum don't go as a rotation. They can go to the left, they can go to the right. It doesn't matter. It's just depending on your pendulum, you will have different results. So the first thing you should do after programming it is, well, the second thing then is going to be, is my name Sasha? And it is, so it's going to go to the right. So you are double checking it's well programmed. And the second question I could ask is, do I have blue hair? and the answer is going to be no immediately because I don't. So you can ask multiple questions to make sure that it is well programmed. I usually only ask 1 or 2. I'm a bit lazy on that, but I usually feel it when my pendulum is off. So yeah. You can also use some charts. I personally don't use them because I don't feel the need to, but it is a very good way to have precise answers. You can also use your pendulums on maps. That can be very useful too, and I think some people do consider maps as charts, so that's there. I will also try to include a book in the description talking a little bit about pendulums so that you can have a little bit more to delve into if you're interested. And I would love to know if you have a pendulum yourself, how you use it, and if you learned anything from this video, because when I looked online I didn't find that many people talking about using your pendulum to clear spaces, to protect yourself, and I felt that it was a great occasion to add something out there. So I hope you enjoyed it, and please comment down below, tell me if you have one, if you learned something, and if you enjoyed it. I was also thinking of creating an Instagram hashtag so that you could post your pendulum, your cards, or whatever is related to esotericism, so that we could all see it, share it, and I could comment more easily. And I was thinking that it could really make a tight and nice community, and that's really what I'm here for, to make a link between me and you. So I hope that works. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you did, and I'll see you for another one. Bye.